Yeah, Governor.
Thank you, Chair. The relevant officer was issued with a show cause letter to justify why administrative action cannot be taken against them. Annex 4 above, the officers have since committed to adhering to the provisions of the PFM.
Auditor, have you seen that? And is it satisfactory to address this issue?
The issue here was on the officer did not submit the documents as required on time to the auditors.
Yeah, Auditor. What is still outstanding here?
Chair, we were to receive that evidence of a show cause letter, but we have not seen it.
Have you received that show cause letter?
No.
In your engagement with the executive?
No, Chair.
No. Governor, you have issued a show cause letter, but the auditor is saying he has not seen it. They have not seen it.
Oh, the show cause letter was supposed to go to the auditor's office.
Yes,
it's attached in Annex 5.
Documents showing that you had implemented our recommendations. You are supposed to satisfy the auditor that the recommendations were implemented, so that when we come here now, we leave out the ones that are mitigated, and we just go through the issues that were not mitigated. We would not be looking at this issue if you had given those documents to the auditor.
Noted, Chair. The documents are now attached under Annex 5. We stand corrected. We thought we wait until we bring them to the Senate.
So has the show cause letter been responded to? Because it's against the Public Audit Act for any officer not to give information during the time of audit, and the provision is really stand on the repercussions of not providing information in good time.
Yeah.
Yes, Senator.
I've had the benefit of looking at the annexures. There is a notice to show cause and then there is a response, but I don't know what decision was taken by the management. Whether the officer was formally warned, you issue a notice to show cause, a response is made. So what decision did management make on that matter?
Governor.
The officer is warned. Once they receive a show cause letter, it goes to their human resource file. It's on record. You cannot receive more than, I think, three show cause letters. You would go to the disciplinary committee. So once you have a show cause letter, that is already a step towards disciplinary.
In
Even
fact,
if
Governor, for our recommendation, when we say take administrative action, it's because there is a provision of law. So you're not requesting them that you need to give them administrative action or some punishment. It's already prescribed in the law. And maybe legal counsel, can you read that part of the law of the Public Audit Act? If you don't provide information during the time of audit, what is supposed to happen to you? Just go through it so that maybe the ones who are new can also learn, the officers, which is the relevant provision. Auditor, is it all the documents are not there now or they are there now?
Chair, the documents were like the show cause letter I can see in the documents submitted.
No. Even before that, there were anomalies like facilitation request memo done after the interviews were conducted, no? List of participants and so on. Are they there now?
Chair, but according to our policy as audit office, we rarely accept documents. We don't accept documents after the audit because
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
There's that policy.
Okay. Legal counsel.
Section 62 of the Public Audit Act, subsection 1 states 1B states that a person shall not, without justification, fail to provide information required under this Act, or C, 1C, a person shall not, without justification, fail to provide information within reasonable time that is required under this Act. Subsection 62(2) states that a person who contravenes subsection 1 commits an offence and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 5 million shillings or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years or to both.
So you had that penalty You've not had that penalty.
I have had the penalty, but the penalty is not given in the first instance because they provided the documents, just that they provided them late. That is why there is administrative action. That is not
So,
administrative. That
yes.
that is legal action.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
So-
not administrative action.
So, Governor, we are saying you must have taken some administrative action, like a warning letter, training, you know. It could be training of the officers if you feel they're inept. You must have taken some action, not show cause, some action. And we're asking, what action did you take to mitigate? Otherwise, when you're writing the report, the final report, then you might prescribe some of those things.
The officers have been warned, all of them. Those
have
who
been?
did that, they have been warned.
Okay.
The show cause
Point us to
letter,
the letters. Okay, center one.
the show cause letter is a warning in itself because it goes on file.
Chair, got some wisdom from senior counsel here. You know, this thing about show cause letter. Now, once you write a show cause letter to a member of staff and they respond to it, should there be a decision based on that conversation? That I've given you a show cause letter, you have responded, and now this is your fate. Now we have forgiven you. I don't know. Does it just end with an exchange of letters? A show cause letter and
Governor, show cause letter an action in itself or an intent of an action. That you explain yourself. If you're not satisfied, then there will be some action.
Thank you, Chair. I think I'll allow the officers who.
EC.
Thank you, Chair. Apart from the show cause letters, Chair, the accountants and the people working with the financial statements, all of them have been taken to refresher courses with the Treasury and ISPAC. And even as we speak, Your Excellent, Chair, there's still another team which is in Mombasa.
you're sitting there. You're sitting there.
Yeah, who are still undergoing the training because this issue partly was because of the late submission, which the accountants later on submitted the documents and the queries were justified. The only issue is that they were submitted late. And part of the late of submission was because of the issues of ending in the financial year, and the accountant have already committed that they will keep time and they will be able to submit the documents in the required time. So once you issue the show cause letter and we feel that that officer has responded satisfactorily, unless he repeats the same crime again, then now we can take an extra step of taking him to the disciplinary committee for
Can I take
further
a time?
action.
Chair, one would be interested to know whether the ONG flagged up that issue when you are doing some audit. So if you did, why do we have to waste our time on small things? I mean, why didn't you give those responses to the OAG? Then we shouldn't be doing some other things. OAG, did you flag up those issues during your interaction in the entity?
Thank you, Chair. When we are auditing, of course, we do start from the query. Somebody will query that this is not supported, and then we'll also write a management letter. We have a draft report, up to final report when it's being signed. So we ask for these documents.
That from the entity, we expect those things to have come up before you. We shouldn't be around those small issues.
So I think, members, we can look at the documents, the show cause letter, the responses when we are writing our reports and make a decision. So that don't belabor on this issue so much and look at other issues. Is that agreed? Senator Umogen.
See, the problem I have is that there is no follow-up action from management. You write a show cause letter, there is a response, then there should be a decision made, and then a communication is made to the officer. Either to tell the officer, we received your response, we have seen you didn't comply with the law, so we are warning you not to repeat the same mistake again. But you can't get a response and then you leave it hanging.
So drinking from the wisdom of the senior council, there must have been some communication, and then also the action by the CC is okay about the training, but then there's something lacking there. That after the officer has responded, then there's need for another correspondence to the officer.
Noted, Chair.
So you will do something within 7 days and give the auditor that particular communication
Write it
to the
in your
officer
notebook.
in 7 days with a copy to the secretariat. Because when you're doing the reports, we'd have both of them. So directed, auditor want to look at paragraph 3, lack of aging analysis for staff payables, and tie it to 2.0, that is on emphasis of matter, long outstanding pending bills. You can look at the two concurrently. You can start with the first one on lack of aging analysis. Do you have it now? What is still remaining? Just, I'm looking at what you've written here. Just tell us what is still outstanding.
Thank you, Chair. Based on the recommendation of the committee, of course, they were being able to provide a report, and that one we said it already implemented. They were able to provide a pending committee report. But there's an issue of where they were supposed to come up with a payment plan and submit it to control of budget, but we were not given such a plan, so that issue remains, the recommendation remains unaddressed. Then there's also an issue of they were trying to control our budget, and that write-up was not provided for audit. So we say the issue of that recommendations remain unaddressed. They were also supposed to give us a list of existing projects and evidence of adequate budgetary provision, and that was not also provided. And lastly, Chair, was conduct public participation. Management shall ensure strict adherence to this law. And this one also we were not.
I didn't get the last one.
There was an element of the fifth recommendation was county governments shall conduct public participation, and then management shall ensure strict adherence to this, and they were to provide evidence of public participation, but we were not given any.
Governor, you looked at the recommendations. What do you have to say?
Chair, I think the problem on this one is the same as the one for the previous one, that we did not submit the documents after we were here in Senate. But the documents are attached in this report. So the question of the pending bills, the provision of a payment plan, that is with the control of budget. And we've been paying every year since 2018.
What do you mean, Governor, it is with the control of budget? You're supposed to provide a payment plan.
To the control of budget.
Have you provided the payment plan?
To the control of budget, yes.
Yes. Auditor, did you want a copy of the payment plan to prove that action has been taken?
Chairman, that's what I'm saying. The issue is not, this problem of the auditor not having the documents will recur in every question, because there's no document we've given the auditor since the time we were here. We thought that we respond and bring them to Senate. So the question he's responding to as not being given does not mean the document is not there. It's just that we did not know we're supposed to have given them before coming here for this review. Okay?
So
I think I'm communicating.
Yeah, I'm getting you. That then now I would ask auditor, what type of engagement did you have with the executive? Because they required documents. You review the documents before our meeting today. If you had actually engaged, you must have asked for the payment plan. Now the governor is saying, we don't know if we are required to give the documents to the auditor. If we invited and engaged the governor, why is the governor saying that they have not given the documents to you, Senator Spooner?
But Chair, I'm wondering, does this committee have the power to close audit queries? the person who raised the audit query is the Auditor General, so that when you are supplying documents in response to even the conversations here in the Senate, if you send it to the Auditor General, to the control of budget, for instance, make sure that you send it to the Auditor General as well, so that when we sit here, the Auditor General is the one we pose those questions to. We are like, have you seen it? So it is supposed to be straightforward, Governor, that the person who, the originator of the query, must be the one you satisfy. The rest of us are just downstream. Once they tell us that they are happy, the query is closed. Secondly, there is ongoing audits. I was doing my exit meetings last week before I went to the Jamboree in Mombasa with the Auditor General for the ODM party. If there are prior year matters that are raised during that particular conversation for this current financial year, they are the ones to satisfy. They're the ones to address those responses to, Governor. So really, if you send it to the control of budget, yet the originator of the question has not had sight of it, it will keep recurring.
I think then there's a miscommunication. We are responding here to a Senate follow-up matrix on the act decisions made at Senate.
Yes.
We are not responding to the auditor because this question came from Senate. So what we did, we prepared for Senate.
I think the
other
confusion is on
times,
your
what
end.
happens-
Just let the governor.
The other times
Land
when
first.
we are going through normal audit, the auditors come to the county and audit, and we do management responses to the auditor. But this letter did not come from the auditor. I think the confusion comes from them because it's the first time we're doing follow-up of our
Yeah,
a
it's the first
Senate
time.
hearing.
It's the first time. Yeah.
It's the first time. So we didn't know that we're supposed to do whatever the Senate provides us, we're supposed to go back to the auditor and then come back to the Senate. We assumed we prepare for Senate and come to the Senate. So that is where the miscommunication is. Because then there should have, it should have been a bit clear that we clear with the Auditor General and then come back. We thought we were coming to report to the Senate.
Senator Spooner, then Senator Wambua.
Chair, there's only one way, Governor, an audit query is closed, and that is by the Auditor General, the originator of the query. We are not originators of the queries. In fact, the ones we make here are recommendations, you know? So if you have not provided documents, because they are the ones to do the verification. For instance, if you are required to present payment vouchers to support a certain expenditure, if you bring those documents to me, there is nothing I'm going to do with those documents because I don't have the capacity to do the verification. So those documents should go to the Auditor General, and then you say, when they are here, that is why sometimes, Chair, we have adjourned meetings of this committee where responses have been sent to us and not to the Auditor General, because they are the originators of the query. So it is not too difficult for me, the way that I see it. For instance, a recommendation has been made that you do a payment plan. It is a recommendation that has come from the Senate. You send that payment plan to the OAG. That is, you'll demonstrate you have complied. In fact, all you need to do to the Senate is to send not the payment plan itself, but a confirmation, like a letter, cover letter to the control of budget saying, fine here with the payment plan as directed by the Senate. For us, that will be enough. Then we'll ask the control of budget, have you seen this? They say yes. Same to the Auditor General. Say some vouchers were not presented. We have now had sight of those vouchers and we have reconciled the amounts, because we will never do reconciliation in this committee. That is a fact. So those documents have to go to the originator of the query.
Senator Wambua.
Chair, just the same issue. The governor is busy with the CEC. They are consulting on something. Okay, Governor, now lend me your ears. Now, Chair, two things. One, the governor has admitted that they have not submitted documentation to OAG in relation to the recommendations by the Senate. And for me, that perhaps is where this engagement ends, you know, because you see, Our recommendations are based on the queries. And the office that has raised the queries is the OIG. It is for them to make the final determination whether that query has been dealt with sufficiently. In the absence of that, then what we are doing here, we will be attempting to carry out an audit here. It's not possible. It's not practical. If the OIG has not seen the responses, then I'm actually wondering what are we engaging on? Because when you ask the OIG whether they have received payment vouchers or supporting documents, and those documents are not available, what are they going to be responding to?
Chair,
Yes,
Chair, may
Governor.
I say something? If maybe I would give an example, like for the areas, let's say, for example, documents were submitted late. The documents were submitted to the Auditor General, and that query was actually accepted as closed. Only the Senate made a recommendation that the officers who submitted the documents late, that should be action taken. Yeah?
No,
No.
that is not the position.
No, that is the position of the previous.
No, the position is, we'll look at the queries, you'll answer to them when we write to you, isn't it? And then we'll do a report so that we go and implement. Now we're looking at the status of the implementation of the recommendations. If you have implemented the recommendation, it is us to close those queries. How do you close them? We close them by satisfying the auditors that you've answered the queries properly in this meeting. Then now we say this one is addressed. It cannot be addressed merely by saying, go and undertake administrative action. You can't close it at your point. You have to give the documents. The auditor must have adequate time to look at the documents that we recommended you give them. Then we do an engagement and we satisfy ourselves that it is true, you have implemented the recommendations, and so that audit query is closed. We'll close it here.
Chair, I think there is a small miscommunication between me and you on this matter. Let me give an example of the previous issue on taking administrative action, where the recommendation by the Senate is to take administrative action. Because by the time we came, we had already submitted the documents to the auditor and the auditor had accepted the issue is cleared. However, Senate felt that because some of those documents were provided late and arose as an audit query, even if the auditor agreed with us, administrative action should be taken on the officer. So the response to this committee now, the follow-up action, is on the administrative action, not on the submission of the documents. I don't know whether I'm overcomplicating, but that issue had actually been closed during the audit.
Murik, you want to say something?
Chairman, I wanted to say that even where documents have not been submitted to the auditor late, sometimes they are brought to the office of the Auditor General. The auditor will not have time to conduct additional tests because they're already back in the office, they're not in the field. So submitting late the documents is not going to help. Thank you, Chairman. Does not resolve the issue.
So then that means that we are not able to close these issues from your answer or from your observation.
I wanted to say that even if you bring a document late to the auditor will not have time to conduct additional tests. And that's the reason why he wasn't asking for the documents in the first place. And that's why the committee now was recommending that administrative action be taken on the officer who failed to provide the documents in time, therefore denying the auditor an opportunity to conduct tests.
So according to the governor, when you provide